Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to race number 2 in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series here in the Goat Locker Racing League. I'm Eddie Smith. Glad to have y'all tonight. Well, we got through the race at Daytona, had an amazing race. Jacob Ellingson able to take home the win last week, and we move on to race number 2, jumping right into it. And tonight going to be exciting, 100 laps here at Las Vegas. And what a track that has put on a lot of really good shows, and tonight going to be no different, I'm sure. Want to thank our sponsors, Right Now Roofing, the main title sponsor for this series, for their support of Goat Locker Racing and the Xfinity Series. So thank you, Right Now Roofing. Also, Jam Printing and Promotions, sponsor of the Truck Series. Thank them for their sponsor. I mean, these are all incredible partners for Goat Locker, and definitely appreciate them being on board. Veterans for Life Foundation, Jamie Perkins, all those involved. I mean, just an incredible organization, and so glad to have them on board as well. And then for VSRN Premier Racing Setups, want to thank them for coming on board this season and sponsoring not only Goat Locker for their setups for Friday night, but also VSRN and their coverage of Goat Locker Racing Series and others on this channel. Well, got to look at the schedule. Always got to give that a little bit of look-see over as you see Las Vegas there, Nashville coming up next week, Dover. Just an incredible schedule in these Xfinity cars. Some of the best in the service, in my opinion. So definitely looking forward to getting through this schedule. And you can see it's not just but 15 races, man. It'll be over before you know it. 15 races goes by pretty quick. So going to be a great season. It's already started out with a bang. Last week was just amazing. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you see, opened in 1996. One of the newer tracks. I think Kansas may be the only one that's a little bit newer that opened in 2001. But Vegas has just had a lot of history, a lot of great races. A playoff staple now, and puts on a great show, especially towards the end of the year. Just a 1.5 mile. It's a little bit more narrow than others. But it puts on a good show, able to run multiple lines and really keep these cars rolling down the track. And that's exactly what they're going to be doing here tonight. Let's take a look at your race analysis. Xfinity cars, fixed setups, 100 laps, 100% fuel, and you'll have that one fast repair here tonight. And hopefully won't need it. I think we're going to see some green flag racing here tonight. I think Jacob Ellingson's got a lot to prove. I think, hey, playoff racing, or the Super Speedway race, it's one thing, and he did a great job bouncing back from that and getting that win after being, I think, 2 laps down at one point last week. So he is definitely looking to try to get that win, already starting out to a pretty good little deal here with just 25 seconds to go. He's on the pole, so, hey, you can't beat that. Take a look at our driver wall here tonight. You got Jamie Barkas, got Jacob Ellingson, and you got Patrick Drabick there on the top and the bottom on the left. You got Trevor McManus. So glad to have him on camera. These 4 guys are definitely appreciate them showing their cams. Of course, the Goat Locker guys do it every single week. So definitely love to look in on what they're doing, what they're wearing. You see the above the yellow line hat there on Barkas, and no hat for Trevor tonight. So you look at him; he's ready to go though. All right, well, gridding is starting, and we're going to jump right into it. Thanks to Right Now Roofing. Let's go ahead and jump into the grid. Who's going to be on the front row? Well, we already saw it. Sorry, I kind of, spoiler alert, Jacob Ellingson is going to be your pole winner here tonight. Jacob Denson going to be outside of the front row. That is going to be interesting to see how Jacob Denson, a lot of new faces in this league for me, so I'm excited to see how they take on a track like this, already seeing some speed out of these guys. Goat Locker going to be in row number 2, Jamie Barkas with Patrick Drabick. 5th is going to be Charlie Harcum. We talked about him a lot last week, and looking to see what these guys can do on a track like this. Jason Kraft there in the 6th position. They ran the exact same time. That's pretty impressive. Mark McCrary going to roll off in 7th with Alex Cruz there in the 8th position. Scott Felt's going to roll off 9th with Trevor McManus in the 10th spot. 11th going to be Colton Lanford. Colton, this is not Talladega, but what you doing here? It's good to see him here back in the Goat Locker series. He is a veteran of this series, so we'll be glad to see him back. Chris Sawyer going to be in 12th position. Bobby Germain in 13th with George Jewell in 14th. 15th going to be Matt Knights with Jeremy Gibbs in the 16th spot. 17 going to be Dustin Hardy. Yeah, I like that name. They have really good biscuits there, so going to be talking about him a lot, I'm sure. John Anthony going to be in the 18th spot. Mickey Isaac going to be there in 19th with James Goshen in 20th. 21st going to be Doug Ellingson with Jamie Perkins in the 22nd spot. And that will round out your grid as we get ready to get this thing rolling and get underway. 100 laps at Las Vegas. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see how these guys handle this Xfinity car. The Xfinity car usually got a lot more, just a lot more power, a lot more yaw that they stick the right rear out as they're going around the corner. So when you go down in these corners, you get on the gas, the car really wants to rotate. And so you can build a lot of speed, a lot of momentum. I'm interested to see how the grooves move. Are they on the bottom? Are they on the top? Or in the middle? Where they want to run, especially since iRacing has improved that in the last 6 months or so. Dynamic track surfaces, things like that. How will that affect the racing? Where will everybody migrate to? Where will the speed be? We'll find that out. As far as pit strategy, that'll be something we'll learn on the fly. And we'll see what the fuel strategy is going to be. Likely a one-stop race with 100% fuel. So the strategy will be pretty straightforward. I think you want to take care of your stuff, get to the front, make sure you don't make any mistakes on pit road, and that'll probably land you in victory lane. So getting ready to get this thing rolling. Jacob Ellingson going to lead us down to the green flag. Pace car is off. And we're green here at Las Vegas. Lap 1 in the books, and Jacob Ellingson has the top spot for now. But, man, Jacob Denson is really looking to try to take over that top spot here early. Track position going to be important, and so it's going to be big to try to get those spots early if you can. Here comes Jacob Denson down to the bottom already, trying to take over that top spot. He's going to slide up in front of Jacob Ellingson, and he will lead lap number 2. Ellingson was able to get the first lap, but Denson gets a nice run. Here comes Jacob Ellingson back. Is he going to try to make a move, or is he going to just ride here? Looks like Ellingson going to be just riding here on lap number 3. Still a long way to go, but with 100 laps, it's not as long as it seems like. You know, you can't really, not in this league, I don't think, and not anymore. I don't think you can just sit back and relax, maxing all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. You got to get up here and race. And, boy, look at him doing it right here. You got Mark McCrary there on the outside, almost 3 wide, as the 28 and the 25 of Colton Lanford, 28 of Charlie Harcum were side by side. Mark McCrary tried to use that outside, but now he's going to lose some momentum, and he's going to go 3 wide with Trevor McManus there in the middle with Scott Phelps there on the bottom. See Trevor here already making some moves. He started in the 10th position, already up to 7th. Oh, and he gets a little bit loose. You can see the Xfinity car, what it provides, and that's the beauty of it, is you're going to be able to really make this car work. It's not going to be too tight. You're going to have a lot of on throttle time. You can see the car rotating, especially on the outside as he unwinds the wheel. And, boy, look at it. He's got a lot of concentration. He gets to the back bumper of Colton Lanford, still working that top side and making it look easy. Now, the one thing about that top side that they haven't solved yet that it will be a concern, something to think about, especially for Trevor, is that top side will burn the tires up still a lot quicker. The bigger load on the right side of the tires, it will burn the tires up and wear them out quicker on the outside. So, like what Trevor is doing here, he's using the top side to try to make passes. He's going to lose a spot here to Mark McCrary, though. But you want to use that top side if you need to make a pass, go around him on the outside, and then probably try to get back down to the bottom at some point so you do not overheat those right side tires. So, important to try to make these passes as quick as possible. because we'll take a look at the weather here. We'll see what the track is. 120 degrees, yeah. So you want to definitely take care of the heat in these tires. That's something that's always kind of confusing about these oval cars is you think, as we got a battle for the lead, looks like Jacob Ellingson going back to the lead. Down on the inside. Oh, they lean on each other coming off the corner. They've already got out to about a 1.3 second gap over Jamie Barkus there in third place. So they're battling side by side, which is music to Jamie Barkus' ears as he's going to be able to try to run these guys down. Looks like Ellingson going to try to clear him off of turn number 2. Not quite able to do it. And Denson going to get in the wall a little bit. And that might slow his momentum as he's going to lose that spot and going to have to fall back behind of Jacob Ellingson. But like I was saying, with the track being this hot, tire temperature makes a huge difference these days in oval cars. It used to be just how much you kind of slid the tires and how much the wear differential was. And that still matters to a degree, but honestly, temperature is king. You want to make sure that if you do overheat the right rear by getting a little bit loose off the corner, or you turn that wheel a little bit too much from center off and really start to heat up that right front, you can actually back it down and allow the car to the tires to sort of cool down. You can't really ever cool them down because you're constantly on them. That friction is constantly building heat, but you can at least keep it from getting any worse, get it cooled down to a steady state, and that's really important to make sure you can maintain that grip and the wear doesn't get too wild and crazy. So right now, James Goshen is your biggest mover of the day. We'll keep tabs on that. He started in 20th spot, and that 85 machine he sees there on the middle. We talked about those different lines. He's running in the middle while you have Bobby Germain there on the outside with George Jewell right behind him. You see James having to be a little bit cautious on the throttle. Can't get it back on the throttle as quickly as he would like. Being patient, trying to make sure you can hear the tire scrub as he goes down into the corner. Trying to just take care of those tires. But he's done a good job, up 6 spots so far. Now, I'll tell you, with these 100-lap races, these are relatively short type races, which is fine. That's a good thing in a lot of ways. But we go up front, man. We've got they're battling back and forth. These two are just going at it. This is a heavyweight fight right here as Jamie Barkus has started to close that gap a little bit as they continue to fight here. You wonder at what point do they decide maybe we try to keep it a 2-horse race and just get single file. But, you know, clean air, just so important. I understand it's a hard balance. You know, it's hard for me to sit here and criticize in the booth of what they should and shouldn't do. Clean air is really, really important. And if the tires start to wear and you're unable to pass, being out front is where you'd want to be. So Ellingson going to keep that spot. And Barkus now within 0.8 of these guys, with Patrick Drabick about 1.7 seconds back. He's actually dealing with Charlie Harcum right now. And that 07 going to give way to the 28 as Charlie looks to be picking up the pace here. Charlie actually the fastest car on the track at the moment. The only one still in the 32.3s. Old Jamie Barkus did run one last time by. So it looks like we got another battle for the lead. They go back at it again. Denson not laying over for Jacob Ellingson. This has been an incredible battle right now as they continue to go side by side. Jacob going to fall back behind him. We'll see if they decide to keep racing or if kind of let this thing settle out. But at this point, they've both really driven hard to try to maintain the lead, and just wonder how much, you know, Jamie hasn't really had to do that. You could see Ellingson get a little bit loose there off the corner. Barkus been on a Sunday drive. He's just been able to take his time, take care of his stuff, be right there on the bottom, not have to drive as hard. So it should come to him towards the end of this run as long as he can continue to take care of it. As Denson starting to put a little bit of a gap here on Jacob Ellingson as they go down the back straightaway. But these 100-lap races, not that long. You know, it's a you have to be quick about it. And you know, if these guys starting in the back, James Goshen, our biggest mover, who is now up to 12th position. You know, these races here in Go Locker tend to be green flag. You don't see too many yellows. As man, Jacob Ellingson getting really out of the groove there and starting to slide. You can definitely tell those tires on that 27 machine are not feeling the greatest at the moment. You start to see how quickly he is sliding back. He is now 2/10 off of Jacob Denson now. And you could, every lap he comes off the corner, he is sideways there. So Jacob's starting to suffer a little bit from that early aggression, I believe. Go back here, check on Mark McCrary and Jason Kraft. They've just been passed by Scott Phelps, another one of those that are moving. And we got some people coming down pit road. Looks like Doug Ellingson and Jamie Perkins are down on pit road. Perkins, I don't know if he had a speeding penalty or if he has had some sort of damage, but both those drivers down on pit road. Don't know if this is a scheduled stop. Seems a little bit too early to come down pit road, but we'll keep tabs on that and see if anybody joins them. But I think that's a little bit too early. Maybe some contact, as I see Doug Ellingson did get some damage, get a fast repair. So he obviously had some contact, probably with the wall, and that's why he is on pit road. Jamie Barkus here, starting to put pressure on his teammate. Gets a big run down into turn one. You can see just how much further Jacob Ellingson is driving that car, and everything he gains on entry, Barkus is actually gaining back on exit down the straightaway. Jamie letting out a good bit earlier. You can see the rear bumper of that 27 kind of take off as he drives a little bit deeper, and look at the gains that Jamie has through the middle of the corner. It looks like it's just a matter of time before that 27 is going to have to give up that spot. But Jamie has caught him pretty quickly, and you can see the effects of the dirty air. It's so pronounced in all of the oval cars. But I tell you, the Xfinity car in the fixed setup, definitely, you can definitely feel it a lot. As you get within 3/10, that front end loses a lot of downforce, and especially coming from middle to exit off the corner, the car just gets tight. It doesn't rotate like it has been. You know, Jamie drove right up to him, probably felt like, oh man, I can get off the gas here and get on the brakes here and get on the gas coming through the middle and the exit of the corner. And then as he gets within 3/10, those points just don't line up anymore. He's got to get off the gas earlier. He's got to get on the throttle a little bit later. And that's where that dirty air just really makes a big difference. And you see, needed a little help. It looks like Jacob actually just said, hey, go ahead and take it, and allowed him to get by. So now Jacob falling back to third place, and Jacob Denson setting sail here as he is now the fastest car on the track. He definitely seemed like he was really just taking his time with Jacob Ellingson just to make sure he was able to get around him respectfully, and saved enough of his stuff, and he is about a 10th faster than Jamie Barkus and Charlie Harcum, which are the next guys that are fastest on the track. I don't see anybody else in the 32-second bracket other than those who have come down pit road. Jamie Perkins and Doug Ellingson. On board with Charlie here, as now he's getting a run on Jacob. It seems like I'm picking on Jacob because I keep showing guys that are about to pass him, but you can definitely see he definitely pushed it a little bit too hard early, and that car is really struggling. But these races at 100 laps, there's just a lot of things that you got to make sure you do right. You got to qualify. I've already touched on this a little bit. As here goes Charlie Harcum down to the inside of Ellingson. Ellingson gets a little bit loose off the corner. But James Goshen has made his way up to 10th position, up 9 spots from where he started. But I think it's just going to be too far back He's definitely got the speed. That's why qualifying in this series, I think, is going to be a huge thing this season. You're going to have to qualify up front if you're going to win these races. You can't start in the back and drive up through the front. There's no stage breaks. There's no cautions for most of these races. You're going to have to be up towards the front if you're going to win these races. And you can see how spread out everybody is. Jacob Denson is about 9.5 seconds ahead of George Jewell back in 11th. Or James Goshen, about 8 seconds behind is James Goshen. So, as I don't know, Trevor McManus coming down pit road. It's time to make your pit stop. So it looks like we got to make either 2 stops or he's going to go really long here. So we're going to see the different pit strategies as McManus comes down pit road. Going to bring that number 9 machine. And decided it's time for me to come on down, get 4 tires, and try to put some pressure on these guys to come back in. Short pitting is, short pitting, I'm kind of back and forth on it. Short pitting is good if you're really close and just can't seem to pass a guy. But, short pitting is really good if you can try to yoink some folks down pit road to come with you, especially if you're starting to fall back. So, McManus gets 4 tires. Fuel going to get back out on the track, and we'll see if that undercut works for him. But here lately, I've just not seen the undercut be as strong as maybe I thought it was in the past. But Trevor, fantastic driver, very smart. I think if anybody can do it and make it work, he can. As he comes back up on the track and going to try to get that thing rolling, get it up to speed, and he should be flying here on these brand new tires. See just how quickly he's going to drive away there from that Kellogg's machine. Colton Lanford was another big mover early in the race, but starting to fall back as, you see him and Jermaine Gibbs get a little out of shape, and Jermaine is actually still out of shape all the way down the straightaway, was loose at number 2 machine, getting wild. But Colton Lanford was up about 5 spots there earlier, and it looks like he may have driven this car just a little bit too hard and is falling back now. So he's going in the wrong direction, about 1.5 seconds off of the pace of Jacob Denson. That is a massive fall off. So it's good that we're seeing tire fall off here tonight. That's always exciting when the tires, really separate themselves. And you're going to see, Trevor McManus will probably show you right here just how quickly those tires. Let's go on board with Trevor and let's watch and see what the difference, new tires versus old tires. He's entering in. He's about a couple seconds back, and look how quickly he gains. Now they're going to be side by side. What's he going to do with it? Look, he's going to have what he needs. Going to go right down to the bottom, make it 3 wide, and that's a difference. New tires here as he's running 31.9s versus these guys 34.5. So he is definitely making up some time here, and that may be enough to make that undercut really make a difference here. But we'll see how long these guys can go. If he can make it 60-something laps, 63 laps, he's going to have a long way to the finish. But time will tell if you can make it to lap 50, because that'll be the mark for most folks, I would imagine. Jacob Denson still out front, continues to pace himself over Jamie Barkas, who is about 2 seconds back now, and he is going to be under fire from Charlie Harcum soon. But Jamie, Jacob, and Charlie have really set themselves apart here on this long run. I think Charlie has probably been one of the faster drivers towards the end of this thing. He's just too far back from Jacob Denson at the moment. But only 2.7 seconds back. He's keeping pace, and all it would take was one mistake from Jacob Denson, and there's a lot of time to be gained there on pit road. As you go down, you can make up a second or two on pit road depending on how hard you get down on onto pit lane, get down to pit road speed, and then get off of pit road. All that going to make a big difference. Like Patrick Drabbit coming down pit road to make his stop here on lap 34. So we may be in a 2-stop situation here tonight. And maybe if they can't make it to lap 50, you'll know. Oh, it actually misses his pit stall. Patrick Going to slide through his stop. That's going to be a big time. I mean, it's going to hurt him. Being that it's green flag, every bit of those seconds matter. And so he had to back up into his stall. Didn't hurt him too much. He'll be back out on tracks shortly. But he was definitely he was about a second and a half slower on pit lane than Trevor McManus was. So you see, he goes by him right there. So that's the undercut for McManus, who needs to put a lot of time on him. Now the question is, when do the leaders come down? Charlie Harcum was able to get around Barkus because Jamie Barkus comes down pit road. Brings that Right Now Roofing number 15 machine down on pit road for 4 tires and fuel. And like I said, I think if you could make it on one stop, you would go to 50 if possible. So it looks like we're going to have 2 stops here tonight. So he's going to slide through his box. He's going to have to back up. So, oh, man, just so frustrating. And that, you know, you can practice it all you want on in practice, trying to get down. But when you've been out there running laps, trying to run consistent laps over and over again, you come down pit road, it is so difficult to get that muscle memory where you can get to the box. Those tires are hot, they're slippery, and you slide right through that concrete. Now, we've already seen a couple Goat Locker boys have issue with that already. Still waiting on your race leader, Jacob Denson, who is yet to come down and make his stop. Lap 37 here, coming to lap 38. When will he come down pit road? We will see. If you're running out front and you're pulling away from the guys like he is, you want to continue to run. There's no point in coming down pit road, giving up that track position. You know, you may end up getting a caution that comes out, traps you a lap down. There's no reason to come down pit road if you're out in the lead and you're pulling away like Jacob Denson is. You want to stay out there as long as possible. Right now, the only people that he's worried about is Charlie Harcum. That's about the only one that can really jump over him in one lap. So he's watching that 28 machine. If he comes down pit road, I think you'll see Jacob following quickly. But right now, there's no benefit for him to come down pit road, because when he comes down and makes his stop after running long, he will have a huge tire advantage, and passing these cars will be very, very easy. So he's in the best spot for that right now. So he's going to continue to stay out on track. Now, Charlie Harcum has run into maybe some lap traffic. You see the 00 there of John Anthony, although he has come down pit road, so we don't know exactly. Seemed like John Anthony would be a lot faster, and you see right there he does pull away, but Charlie has lost a little bit of time the last few laps. Jacob Denson ran a 33.2. Charlie Harcum, 33.9. So quite a big difference between those two. And Charlie had been able to keep up with him for a while. So Jacob Ellingson starting to run him down. You see a little bit of movement there out of the 28 coming off the corner. So he's definitely feeling it. Now we got a battle for position as Patrick Drabick was able to get around Trevor McManus. That's a difference of 6 lap tires. Trevor able to jump up in front of these guys, but you can see the difference those tires are going to make as Patrick Drabick going to unlap himself at least from Jacob Ellingson. He's still a lap down. And you see the 25 of Colton Lanford as they're going to split Jacob Ellingson. Trevor McManus, Colton Lanford go around him. So right now, Patrick, Trevor, Jamie, Mark McCrary, James Goshen, all those guys that come down pit road, Jason Kraft, George Jewell, all those guys really hoping that there's no caution, as that would be pretty detrimental to their strategy here tonight, especially if you're Trevor McManus on back. That would be awful. You'd have to take the wave around. You've got 5 or 6 laps on your tires. You would be a sitting duck on that restart. So we continue to watch this. It's not a battle for position. Patrick Drabick in that 7th position. See what that 07 looks like here tonight. Patrick Drabick. Currently sitting in the 7th position, but he is the first of the folks that have come down pit road, even slide through his box a little bit. not a big deal. He will inherit the lead most likely once everybody comes down pit road, and Jacob Denson now coming down pit road, your leader. So Patrick hammered down the last few laps. We'll see if that does give him the lead. He came down 9 laps ago, so he's definitely still putting in 31-second laps. He will inherit the lead, but for how long, as Jacob Denson is going to come down, make his stop here tonight. So it definitely looks like you can't make it to lap 50. And honestly, with the tire wear, the way that things are, I'm not sure you want to go to lap 50. We might have some guys that try to stretch it and do it on fuel if they can. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to work out just how big the tire difference is. You see Jacob Denson coming out of pit road. He's going to lose spots to Jamie Barkas, Trevor McManus, Patrick Dravick. All of them going to get around him. And he's actually going to go a lap down as gets passed by Charlie. So still waiting on the 28 to come down pit road. Are they trying to make it on fuel? We'll see. We'll try to pay attention. We're on board with Charlie Harcum in the 28 machine, that Chevrolet Camaro, and see if he's saving it all, if he's trying to make it to 50. You can definitely see he's having to lift quite a bit. It's whoever's in front of him. I think that's, I don't know who that is, but got extremely loose there in the middle of the corner. As these guys going around him. That's the 83 of Mark McCrary. It's your Speed Kings driver right there. But look, this is your leader at the moment. Look how tough it is. He's really struggling on exit. He's not clutching. I thought maybe he was trying to make it to lap 50. But I don't know exactly how many laps they can make it on fuel. Don't get that kind of information. But you have to think a lot of guys going for the 2-stopper because trying to run 60-plus laps, it seems like it would be a just awful experience. But Charlie really being careful on the throttle. As we still have 4 drivers that have not come down pit road. Charlie Harcum, Jacob Ellingson, Scott Phelps, and Alex Cruz have yet to come down pit road. I just don't know. I hate to always be on these strategies. It's such a tough deal if you're trying to make it on one stop, if that's possible. You make it on one stop, the problem is you have to run so slow, and you're at the mercy of that. You're at the mercy of the fuel gauge. You don't get to go fast. If somebody comes up and passes you, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, but looks like maybe they can't make it all the way, as now here comes Charlie Harcum down on pit road, going to get slowed up, and he's going to give up the lead to Jacob Ellingson. Scott Phelps has had an incredible race. He started in 9th, up to 4th, cracked the top 5 with ease. And we'll see where he comes away once he comes out of pit road. But he has had a great run. And that's going to give the run or the lead back over to Jacob Ellingson here, as he's going to try to make it to lap 50 here. So he's definitely got the strategy of making it to the end on this one stop. Alex Cruz comes down pit road. So almost everybody has come down pit road except for Jacob Ellingson, who stays out on the track, expecting to see him in the next lap or so. I can't imagine going any further would benefit him at all. If he can make it on this one more stop, here he comes down pit road. He's going to give up the lead. I mean, running 50 laps here is I mean, that is a tough ask out of that 27 machine, but he did it. Got down to lap 50. He's going to have to go 50 more laps if he's going to make it all the way to the end, looks like. But that gives the lead over to Patrick Dravick, who passes Jacob Ellingson on pit road. Patrick been on the track for 17 laps. I would imagine he's going for a 2-stop race for sure. I mean, I don't think it's possible to go any further. So I'm almost 100% certain that he is going to have to stop another time. So he's hammered down, trying to get the most out of these tires as he can before he has to come down pit road in the next 15 laps or so. But right now, I mean, he is Going to get swallowed up by Jacob Denson pretty quickly, as Denson right there behind him, about a second and a half back, and Patrick really having a fight with Colton Lanford here. Lanford is in the 16th position, 1 lap down, and you can see he's not making it easy on the 07 car, really having to fight, hoping to stay on the lead lap if possible. Patrick going to get around him there, and looks like he's going to be able to complete it, but here comes Jacob Denson, though. 7 car has got the right strategy. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to lose this race if it stays green. I think he's got 10 lap fresher tires than anybody around him. Now he's quickly running to chase down. You can see how quickly, look at the run, he gets off the corner. Pat would like to try to get him into a mistake, you know, just slow him down a little bit if you can. But, I mean, you can see just nothing that Patrick can do there to stop the 7. So, Patrick's in a good spot. He's 2.3 seconds back from Jamie Barkas, and another 3 seconds back to or ahead of Mark McCrary. So, Patrick's in a good spot right now. He just needs to hope that Jacob Denson has a problem or we get a caution. But right now, Jacob's going to take over the top spot, and he's going to set sail with those fresher tires. I mean, the only person that's got fresher tires than Jacob Denson is going to be Charlie Harcum in that number 8 machine in the top 10. So there's nobody who can, as far as tires go, do anything with Jacob at the moment. So Jacob looking good. All it would take, though, one caution, change everything in this race, and it would definitely turn it on its head. Back here as we watch Jacob Ellingson and Alex Cruz, 2 teammates. Jacob going to go around Alex, but Alex trying to keep him in tow. Alex in the Cruising Classic Chevy Camaro. Not having the race that he would probably expect to have. Started in 8th, but currently running in 13th, just struggling here. But he did run long on that last run, so we'll see how his pit strategy works out. Looks like we got a couple strategies here. We got some guys trying 2-stopper and guys trying to 1-stop. So we'll see which one of those is going to work out. You know, with the fall off as much as it is, I mean, that's it's going to be a tight one. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. Got a nice 3-way battle between Trevor McManus, James Goshen, and Jason Kraft. Goshen, you see there, up 12 spots from where he started, the biggest mover of the race by far. And now he's looking down to the inside of McManus, who has about 8 laps fresher tires, or McManus has 8 lap older tires than Goshen, so he's really struggling. Of course, Trevor, we know, was the first one to come down pit road, came out second here, and is quickly falling back to 6th, now to 7th, and probably before too long he'll fall back to 8th. So you see that undercut just doesn't, it just doesn't work out like you hope it would sometimes. You're really hoping to undercut, get a caution, and then be able to come down pit road and maintain that track position that you gained. But you can see here, green flag racing the whole way. We have yet to have a caution. And that's what we expect here in the Goat Locker race. I mean, we had on Friday night in the Truck Series, we had no caution. And you think, okay, at Daytona's, you see Trevor McManus gets real loose off the corner, but able to hang on to it. He was really hanging that thing out, trying to keep up with these guys, but that tire, that's what I'm saying, the tires not giving him the security that he wants. Look at that steering wheel going to the right as he gets on throttle. Right there again, just so unsure about that throttle input. Struggling at the moment, that number 9. Of course, he's been on track for 32 laps on these tires. It doesn't surprise me one bit. Go back up here to 4th. Charlie Harcum on those new tires. Mark McCrary pitted about 24 laps ago, so I think Charlie will make quick work of this right now. Charlie's still about 9.7 seconds off the lead. I'm going to tell you right now, Jacob Denson has really kind of planted his flag in this series. I mean, last week, Daytona, I mean, what you going to do? It's a plate race. You do the best you can. and you never know what to expect there. But right now, I mean, Jacob is showing some dominance here as he is really put on a clinic. And this is a fun track to put on a clinic for sure. But talking about the truck race, the Jam Printing Promotions Truck Series on Friday nights, man, you think, okay, y'all ran how many laps? I think it was 60 laps. And you think, oh, no cautions? Well, they must have run single file the whole time. Hell no. They were running side by side, pushing, shoving. I mean, jumping down in front of each other, moving lanes all over the place. Some close calls for sure. And we didn't have a caution towards the end of the race. So, man, I tell you what, just impressive driving all season long. And I would imagine on Wednesday and Thursday it has been very, very similar. Right now, Jacob Denson is putting on a clinic, 4.5 seconds, and that lead is going to continue to grow as he is running. We'll see at the line what he is running, and we'll compare it to Patrick Dravick there in second. 32.726 for Jacob Denson that last time, and Patrick Dravick 33.190, so 0.4 of a second difference between those two drivers. The only faster car is Charlie Harcum, who is starting to kind of chew into this lead a little bit, but man, he's got 8.5 seconds to get it done. We'll see if he can. He's got about 5 lap pressure tired. We'll see if he can kind of get this lead down to a manageable amount before he has to come back down pit road. Doug Ellingson has come down pit road. You saw him there down on the apron trying to get that car slowed down, electing just to go 15 laps. I think Doug always he's not worried about winning the race every week. I think he is just always racing for comfort. He wants to go down. Once he feels that car not doing what he wants to, he comes down pit road and he gets 4 tires. He's not out here trying to slip and slide the whole time. I tell you what, it gets stressful. And you want to come down, you want to feel the comfort of those good years as they go back on. And he's got a little bit of damage too. So it looks like he's going to stay and maybe get some of that taken care of. But everybody kind of spread out right now. We're gonna. I tell you what. Let's take a little commercial break. Let's thank our sponsor for VSRN, and we'll come back with some reads. And yeah, we'll definitely come back, and we'll see the end of this thing. Some pit stops coming up pretty soon. Be right back. All right, well, we are back, and we got pit stops happening almost immediately. Patrick Dravick comes down pit road, gives up that second spot, and he's going to set himself up for the end of this race. Just over 30 laps to go, and he has come down pit road, and he's going to need a little help. He's going to win this race, but, you know, it's not always about winning. Sometimes it's about getting good finishes, especially if you're going to fight for a championship, and I know Patrick Dravick has definitely plans to do that. So he's going to bring that 07 Right Now Roofing machine off of pit road. That's a good-looking car. I want to thank our sponsor for this series, Right Now Roofing, located in Oklahoma and Florida. Right Now Roofing, they understand that your home is more than just a building. It's a sanctuary for you and your family a space where memories are made and cherished. That's why choosing the right roofing company is such an important decision. We know there are many options available, but we truly believe that we stand out from the rest. We pride ourselves on providing a customer experience that not only meets but exceeds expectations every step of the way. Right Now Roofing, definitely appreciate them for being a part of this series. And Patrick Drapick in that Right Now Roofing number 07 machine is now going to try to make up a lot of time. The other Right Now Roofing number 15 machine is now coming down pit road. Jamie Barkus going to bring that 15 machine down on pit road to make his final stop of the night if we stay green. And he is going to give up a second position to make that happen. And I think that's the best looking one I got. I'm a little bit partial to orange. So if you put an orange car on the track, I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to like it a lot. And I just love the way this 15 machine looks. I mean, whoever painted that, I'd love to give them props. But, man, what a good paint scheme. And he comes right down into his stall. This time getting in without an issue. Slides right to the sign. Going to get 4 tires and fuel from his invisible pit crew and get back out on the track. Side by side, here comes James Goshen down on pit road. That 85, ooh, gets a little wild here. Is he going to come down pit road? But gets slowed up just in time. Going to give up the fourth position, to come down and make his final stop. Now, if I'm Jacob Denson, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm coming down pit road right now. There's no reason to run long at this point. You know, you got a 7-second lead. He can do whatever he wants to. That's the best thing about being the leader and being as dominant as he has been so far. He can do whatever he wants. He can come down pit road now, give up the lead. You know, he probably wouldn't go a lap down. There's just so many benefits to being as fast as he's been tonight. And so definitely has a lot of options here. He can run as long as he wants, and I don't think it's going to matter. Unless we have a yellow flag, there's really not much that anybody can do for Jacob Denson. He's gonna take this win. But that's why we love racing. You never know what's going to happen. That caution flag is right around the corner. All it takes somebody to get loose, get sideways, make some contact with each other, and then this thing is back on. And I know Jacob does not want to hear that at all. He's probably, if he listens to the broadcast, he's probably like, man, shut up. So we'll keep trying to bring one out, I guess. But Jacob going to run. He's been on the track about 30 laps now. Expect to see him come down at any moment. Well, we also want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions. Man, I tell you, they have been around Goat Locker since the beginning. And since forming in 2013, Jam Printing and Promotions contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certifieds. When they do well, the community does well. That's Jam Printing and Promotions. I mean, huge sponsor for Goat Locker, and definitely appreciate them. Well, everybody kind of spread out. Your big movers, you know, have been James Goshen back there in 12th spot. And we still have a few drivers that have not come down pit road. The same few from earlier. Jacob Denson, Charlie Harcum, Jacob Ellingson, Scott Feltz, and Alex Cruz. Now the big question is, can they make it on fuel? We saw Jacob Ellingson make it to lap 50. So we know they have to make 2 stops, but those drivers don't have to make 2 stops. Jacob Ellingson can make it the rest of the way. So, you know, Jacob Denson really needs to be thinking about that, as he's going to have to – he's running out of time. If he comes down pit road, he's going to be on a time clock. Ellingson's going to the end. He has been able to make it to lap 50. He's going to the end of this thing. He's not going to pit again for tires or fuel. So – if you're Jacob Denson, you got to be thinking, I need to give myself enough time to run that guy down, because I have to go down pit road, go down a lap, and I have to unlap myself and go all the way around. So that's something that I failed to talk about in the last 5 to 10 laps is, you know, while Denson can kind of do what he wants, I was thinking he'd come down a little bit sooner, because now he's only got 20 laps if he comes down pit road right now. About 22 laps to run down Jacob Ellingson and anybody else on that strategy, which Alex Cruz, I think, is on the same strategy. So right now, Ellingson looking good for a two-peat if Jacob continues to run this out, I mean, while he'll have faster tires, he's going to run out of time to make that difference up. So, going to be an interesting end to this race. So while it's been green the whole way, and Jacob Denson at least has really dominated after the first 25 laps. I don't think this race is over by any stretch. I think Jacob Ellingson has a good chance here if Jacob Denson continues to stay out. I really think this is a mistake. Ellingson is only about 15 seconds back right now. On board with Denson here. We'll see if he's trying to save a little bit of fuel. I don't think he can save any at this point. I mean, you don't hear him trying to save any fuel as here comes Patrick Drabick to unlap himself. But, I mean, I got to think that Ellingson's got a good shot here. I mean, he is catching Jacob Denson at the moment. So unless Denson is planning on, I don't know. I don't know the whole fuel run. I don't know if they can make it 60-plus laps. I'm not real sure. But he pitted 37 laps ago, and he's got to make 19 more. So if you do the math, that's going to be right over 55 or 56 laps he's going to have to make it here on fuel. We don't know. Can they make it on that much fuel? We're about to find out. It does seem like Denson is kind of running a little bit slower than his normal pace, but not really. So, I hate to continue to be up here spinning my wheels, but, there's just so many things we don't know. I don't know what they can run on a tank of fuel. If I knew that, I could tell you exactly. But, I mean, knowing that Ellingson weren't right to 50, you would have to think that he's going to try to stretch it to the very end. Check in on Jacob Ellingson. He is back in third. Still, one of the 5 drivers have yet to come down pit road here. Denson, Harcum, Ellingson, Feltz, and Alex Cruz still out on track. Have yet to come down and make their second stop if they're going to. And like I said, I think Ellingson has got enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing. So it's going to be an exciting finish for sure here. Check in here on Jamie Perkins. Perkins has had, I mean, he started 22nd. He's running 20th. That's pretty good, but he is 5 laps down. Struggling here tonight, trying to get this car around this track. But we definitely appreciate him. And while we're talking about him, let's talk about Veterans for Life Foundation. The goal of Veterans for Life is to both revitalize communities and supporting military veterans and their families. Successful transition back into civilian life. Through support services, counseling, and education, they provide permanent, affordable housings to veterans and their families. The primary sponsor for the ARCA series that runs on Thursday nights. They're sponsor of quite a few veteran drivers within the league. I mean, Jamie Perkins has been instrumental in the partnership, and he's a partner of Veterans for Life Foundation. So I want to thank him and Veterans for Life for their support of this whole league. That's what I love about it. We have series sponsors and they kind of trade back and forth, but man, it's just a support of the whole league. And without them, a lot of this stuff's not possible. There's a lot of cool things going on in Goat Locker, and without those, you see Jamie gets a little bit loose there, and man, Jamie and Jamie almost came together. But without the support of those organizations, Goat Locker can't do the things they've been doing here lately. And, man, it's just impressive to see what they've been able to improve upon and try to get themselves out there a little bit more. You have to invest if you're going to try to break out and put yourself out there. And I tell you, that's why it's so exciting around here is Pat and Jamie have definitely done the investment that you need to do to make, it's not about being a great racing league. It's about elevating yourself above just a racing league and be something more. And I think that's what they've been trying to do. And I think successfully they're headed down that path. They got a podcast starting up, and it's fun for them. I mean, you think about it, it's fun for them to be able to do these things and all the things they have planned for Goat Locker Racing. It's fun for them, but also, I'm sure, incredibly rewarding for what they are trying to accomplish. And I think they've done such a good job that I'm just excited to be a part of it, even a little bit. Hit the 21 there going around, and that's the 21 of Chris Sawyer. Hadn't said his name much tonight, but that iRacing paint scheme, I tell you what, good-looking car. You got to love iRacing's colors. And Chris Sawyer got a really nice 21 machine. You got to show that off a little bit. So he's currently running in 14th. Dropped a couple spots from where he started a lap down, but so he's going to go down to the inside of Jamie Barkas there. Not a battle for position. Chris Sawyer is on pretty fresh tires. He pitted 9 laps ago, now 10. So he is on the hunt, trying to gain some spots for the end of this thing. But all eyes are on Jacob Ellingson. 10 more laps to go. Can he make it to the end? That's the question. We never really knew how far they can go on fuel. We saw Ellingson go to 50. And Denson is now at lap 46 of this run. So how far can they actually go on fuel? If it was close for Jacob Ellingson when he came down at 50, he may be able to win this race. But if their fuel tank were going to allow them, they're at 100% fuel. If they can go about 55 laps, then I think Jacob Denson's got what he needs. Yeah, it looks like Jamie Perkins may have had some contact with the wall. He was a little bit slow there down the back straightaway, but able to keep that thing rolling as he's right in front of the leader. Denson, a new driver, excited to get to know these folks. I mean, anytime we get some new folks, it's always exciting to get to know them, talk to them, figure out where they're from, what they're about. And Jacob, an unknown to me, so I'm excited to get to know him, as he definitely is showing himself as a championship favorite. But just 8 laps to go. Does he have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way? I would imagine he would have pitted already if he did not. So we'll see if he can do it. If not, Jacob Ellingson will be there waiting. Maybe Charlie Harcum be there waiting to take that victory away from him. He definitely not clutching, not saving any fuel. So either very confident he can make it to the end, or he's going to stop and maybe take a splash of fuel and get back out there. We'll see what he decides to do here quickly as he crosses the line, and one more lap and he will go further than anybody else has gone on a set of tires or a tank of fuel with only 5 laps to go when he crosses the line. Well, with just 5 laps to go now as you cross the line, I want to thank the rest of our sponsors, Cruising Classics. Go check out what they got, cruisingclassicsinc.com, and see what they got. I mean, just some incredible classic cars. They got a 56,000 square foot showroom located in Columbus, Ohio. I mean, huge inventory. Just a lot of fun to see those old cars and what they got. So go check them out at cruisingclassicsinc.com. That ink is very, very important. And, of course, Red Beard Design Company out of Greenfield, Indiana. Veteran-owned and operated Red Beard Design Company is a brand design and creative agency out of Greenfield, Indiana. They do brand identity, illustration, advertisement, apparel, packaging, and posters. They have designed all of Goat Locker Race's logos since day one. So when you see Goat Locker, you're seeing a Red Beard design. Well, all right. I know we've been kind of watching the leader a little bit, but everybody pretty much spread out. There's really not much to show right now. I mean, this is the action, is whether or not Jacob can make it to the end on fuel. And that's the big question that I have. And it seems like that's going to be the case, as he has yet to come down pit road. He's not saving fuel, so it looks like he's got plenty of fuel to make it. So it looks like they could make it, probably about right at 60 laps. Jacob Ellingson nor Charlie Harcum has really made up any ground here on Jacob. So Jacob played the strategy game perfectly, and he is looking to take home this win in just 3 more laps, assuming we don't have a caution of some sort. It seems guys get out of shape. I mean, it always seems to happen. And Jacob is at a tough spot that I hate to be in sometimes. You hate to be out front with such a big lead with just 5 or 10 laps to go, because it's the longest laps that you'll do in the race. Is you're just sitting there saying, please, guys, don't wreck. And you'll hear people pipe up on the radio, go, oh. They'll say that over to the voice comm, and you'll be like, oh, here we go. You just know, that's going to happen. So, and it does happen from time to time. 2 laps to go here for Jacob Denson. Back for 5th and 6th. Patrick Drabick slowly creeping up here on Alex Cruz, trying to get in that top 5. Only going to have a couple laps to do it. You can see how tight he is off the corner. Really struggling with the handling of this car. And right now, I mean, Jacob Denson coming off of turn 4. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go here at Vegas in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. No caution's going to come out. All he's got to do is maintain 8.8 seconds over this lap, and he will come away the victor. The number 7 coming off of turn 2. No issues here. No pressure from behind, and got plenty of fuel as he goes down into 3 and 4 for the last time. And we got a new winner. We broke the streak from Jacob Ellingson. Now it's going to be Jacob Denson as he comes off of turn 4 onto the start-finish line, and he is going to win here at Las Vegas. What a drive. Well, we were concerned about his fuel level, whether or not he could make it that long on fuel, and he ran 56 laps on those tires, the longest that I've seen anybody run all race long to get it done, and he does, and he is going to go celebrate. So definitely some donuts here in the future for him, as he's going to burn it down here, down on the front stretch. Letting everybody else finish. He's going to burn it down. Jacob Denson. A really good burnout there. I'm actually impressed with that. So that was a good one. Got to do a little Polish victory lap here, and we're going to get ready for some interviews. So we'll wait on everybody to kind of jump up in the channel and talk to some of these guys. You see some other folks out on track, but let's take a look at your results for the end of this race and see where everybody finished. See there, 0 cautions. It's just incredible. That's what you expect here in Goat Locker. Yeah, it doesn't provide any exciting finishes, battling for the wins, but you know, hey, the caution-free races, while it's not like Daytona or Talladega. It definitely didn't have the excitement of coming to the finish, but you got to have these races. This is part of racing. This is what makes racing good. Cautions don't make racing. They make excitement. And tonight we had racing, and that's what we are here at Goat Locker, the Goat Locker Racing League. So that's what we had, and man, what a great show that Denson put on. Charlie Harcum going to come home in second with Jacob Ellingson there running long there on that one run, able to maintain that 3rd position, so he'll come home in 3rd spot with Scott Feltz there in 4th. Alex Cruz with a great finish in the 5th spot. with Patrick Drabick there in 6th, Jamie Barkus in 7th, Mark McCreary in 8th, Trevor McManus in 9th, and James Goshen, your biggest mover, 10 spots, is going to round out your top 10. 11th going to be Jason Kraft with George Jewell in the 12th position, Chris Sawyer in 13th, Jeremy Gibbs, in 14th, Bobby Germain in 15th. You got John Anthony in the 16th position, Colton Lanford in 17th, Matt Knights in 18th, 19th Dustin Hardy, 20th is Jamie Perkins, and then round out your field going to be Doug Ellingson and Mickey Isaac, who didn't look like he turned a lap at all. Well, all right. Well, let's jump into some interviews. I'm excited to talk to these drivers, and we're going to start with our winner, who just dominated the race. And we're going to talk to him, see what he thought about the race. If I can get him up in here, we'll get Jacob in here now. Jacob Denson, this Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
What do you say, Eddie? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Well, I'll tell you what. What a show, man. I was just talking about it. Daytona puts on excitement. Yellow Flags put on excitement, but this was racing. And, sometimes you need these type of races. And here in Goat Locker, we're kind of used to green flag racing. You're new to the league. At least you're new to me. So you may not be 100% new to the league, but you're new to me. And so it's good to meet you, first off. And second off, man, congratulations on a fantastic race. You did all the strategy right. You didn't make any mistakes, and you had a 9.4 second lead on them here tonight. Talk a little bit about that first part of the race. You raced him with Jacob Ellingson. Y'all were going back and forth. You had to feel pretty good about where you were and knew that maybe you'd start to pull away. Were you surprised how quickly you pulled away there early in the race?
I was actually. I made a point because I knew the tires were going to be a big part of it. The track was hot. I think the temperature at the start of the race was 120 degrees, and it was already loose in practice coming out of 4 especially. So I knew that right rear was going to be important to maintain, so I did everything I could. We were tight at the beginning, and he actually, was racing me pretty hard. It was clean, though. I like racing with him. He's fun to race with. But when I got in front of him, I don't know if it was a combination of the clean air and me just being able to save that right rear, but it was kind of surprising to see that I could actually pull away a little bit. And I think the pit strategy, that was another thing that kind of surprised me, is when they short pit, because you could make it halfway on fuel. But the tires, I think, was probably what forced them to go in.
Yeah, I was spinning my wheels up here trying to do quick math, trying to figure out how far we could make it on fuel, and people were pitting. I thought for sure maybe you had to go two stops, but you could see the tire difference. I mean, your best lap was a 31.2, and your last lap that you ran after 56 lap old tires was 33.8, so a big fall off on tires. It's once you start to pull away, you kind of have the control of the strategy. So you had to feel really confident without, assuming there was no yellow flags. But what do you think the difference was? What do you think? I mean, you got to race with Jacob Ellingson a little bit, and you got to race around some other drivers. What do you think the difference was that you were able to do differently that put you 9.4 seconds ahead of second place?
I actually think it's, like I said, that saving that right rear, because, my teammate Charlie Harcum and Scott and Jeremy all talked about that right rear falling off so quick, spinning coming out of 4. And I did short pit just a little bit on those guys too, because I think it was about 3 or 4 of us on that strategy, and I came in, I think, at lap 44, which put me actually a lap short on fuel, but I was able to, conserve a little bit. And that's what got me out in front, because I came out on such fresher tires, and that advantage, like you said, that 2 or 3 second a lap just put me that far ahead, so I was able to kind of cruise and maintain the lead rather than trying to catch somebody and pull away from them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just an incredible start to your campaign this season in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series, and what a way to start off. Second race of the season with the win. Good way to start off. How you feeling going into the next race? And what are you looking forward to for the rest of the season? We're going to Nashville next week. How do you feel about that track?
I like Nashville. It's concrete, but it's similar in shape to Las Vegas. Vegas is one of my favorite tracks. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. I just really enjoy running here. Nashville, it's probably going to be the same. It's going to be a tire situation. These Xfinity cars have changed over the past couple seasons as far as how you drive them. And I don't know if I'm looking forward to next week. I love the mile and a halves. I love the ovals. This season, I'm looking forward to where it takes us. I'm having fun so far. Like you said, we're new to this league. I say we, me and my teammates, B&H Racing, and having fun so far. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, I will ask you one more question. I know I'm going a little long with you, but talk a little bit about coming into a new league. It's always tough to come in and you got your teammates, which definitely helps when you're racing with folks that you know and you're having a good time in Discord and whatnot. But I mean, what's your thoughts when you come into a new league? What are you trying to do? What are your thoughts and focuses as y'all come in here? Kind of as the new drivers, do you have if you're in a league that you've been racing for a while and you come into a new one, do you race any different or do you race about the same?
And honestly, I think, and personally, I'm a little more conservative. I try to figure out and get a feel for who's who. Daytona, you can't really tell because it's just, how
Right.
plate racing
Yep.
is. But coming to a race like this, like I said, me and Jake, we raced earlier in the race, and I try to race people clean no matter who it is. And when you first come into a new league, you're really trying to learn some names, see who does what. You're trying to learn habits because over a season's time, you'll figure out, who races who clean, who races who a little not so clean. So I think coming in, we just try to, be smooth, be clean, get a good name for ourselves, and I feel like we do it in most leagues we get in.
Yeah, well, you definitely showed that tonight. Incredible drive, Jacob. I mean, just a great win, great way to start the season. And as always, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs here tonight?
Absolutely. I want to start with the league shout outs. Right now roofing, you guys are putting on a good series. Veterans for Life Foundation, Cruising Classics, V Speed, Red Beard Design, Jam Printing. You guys are putting on a good show so far. I like the Discord. I like the things we're seeing. I work for a shipyard in Newport News, so I'm all about veterans. I love working around Navy guys. They're a different type of person. They're fun to work with. A lot of great stories. Definitely want to shout out the team, B&H Racing, B&H IT, Phelps Media, and on the hood you'll see I got Little Miami Brewing. So they're a brewing company up in Cincinnati, Ohio. So if you ever get in that area, check them out. They're family owned, great brewery, a lot of good times, fun music, great place to check out.
All right, well there you have it. Your winner, Jacob Denson, here tonight as he leads a lot of laps, 83, to come home with the victory. And man, just an incredible win. Let's talk to your second place finisher, Charlie Harcum. Got him up into chat. Charlie, man, how you doing tonight? Congratulations on your second place finish. How do you feel after that performance there?
Doing good, Eddie. I got you loud and clear. Yeah, I feel good. It's pretty cool when you can run 100 laps green and no cautions, everybody's staying clean. Uh, it's not an awesome feeling to watch somebody walk away from you like Jacob did, but I mean, hey, we'll take a second and we can build on this and but yeah, had a blast.
Yeah, I mean, last week was a lot of fun for you. It seemed like. I mean, you had a pretty good race for the most part early. But this race was, long green flag runs, pit strategy, a couple stops for some folks. You elected for just the one stop race. The tires definitely seemed like they were struggling there. But I mean, how did the car feel for you? What were you struggling with? And maybe what do you think was a 9.4 second difference between you and your teammate Jacob?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, it's the right rear, especially on those long runs. I tend to be a little bit hard on the right rear coming out. Some guys drive it in hard and they're going to burn up the right front. So once we saw a few people making those early stops, we're like, all right, we're committed to this. If we can make it halfway and not, blow the right rear, and this thing stays green, I don't think that alternate pit strategy is going to work, and we'll be able to stay up here. As for the 9 to 10 seconds, man, some people would just have that perfect gas pedal foot, and they just take it nice and easy, and they make it look so easy. And I mean, Jacob's on our team, and I love him to death, but daggone, it can be a little disheartening to watch somebody just make it look easy to hold a 10-second lead. But yeah, it was for me. It was definitely the right rear. I mean, it wasn't undrivable, but I mean, if we had been racing side by side with somebody, it would have gotten a little difficult. So, I guess all in all, fortunate to wind up in second for sure.
Well, what are those discussions like whenever you see the pit strategy changing versus what you planned on? Or you come into the race with a plan, you do practice, y'all talk about it, and then during the race, people do things that are different. I mean, it's got to be tough, especially since you don't know everybody, to sit there and see the difference. And people go into pit road, and you kind of have to second guess yourself. You have to consider the possibility of whatever they're doing. Is that what we should do? How hard is it to continue on down the strategy that you set and not try to throw an audible whenever something like that happens?
Yeah, you're spot on with that. Just because we're a little new to these folks, we don't know everybody here, and so you can't really say, well, this person decided to do this, we should probably go with that. Uh, Typically, on our side on B&H Racing, we'll say, hey, going in, this is what our strategy is going to be. And then if we see something divert from that just a little bit, yeah, you got to make a quick judgment call, and then whatever you decide, put that other strategy out of your mind. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, either way, you got to be committed to whatever you do. You certainly don't want to double back, because then you just rarely does that work out. So I think as long as you're committed to one or the other, you're going to get a decent result. So yeah, once we saw some folks going in at 30, 35 or so, we're like, all right, they're doing two. Think my right rear is going to hold on for 15 more laps. Let's just do it. We're going to go halfway and see where it gets us. Unfortunately, it stayed green. I mean, if it hadn't stayed green, who knows what would have happened. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny how pit strategy. I mean, you got to be fast on the track, but daggone pit strategy. Some people probably joke around about it, but I mean, it's a big deal. And if you have a little bit of a plan going in, it'll definitely help you out.
Well, it definitely helped y'all out. You're able to lock on the lock up the first two spots. Congratulations on the second place finish, Charlie. Who you got to thank here tonight?
Yeah, no doubt. So, of course, right now, roofing, doing a awesome job with the Xfinity uh, league here. Jam printing and promotions, all those shirts and hats and everything. With uh, Goat Locker Racing, of course, Veterans for Life Foundation, looking out for our vets. Not many better things you can do than that. Cruising Classics, they're big time on Wednesday nights. Make sure y'all checking out Goat Locker Racing on Wednesdays, the Next Gen series. And Red Beard Design Company, they're all those logos and everything. They've been around since day one, so making Goat Locker look good. And then, of course, you guys in V Speed do an awesome job with the broadcast. Man, there's nothing better than going back and watching an awesome broadcast, and we send our folks y'all's way as well. So, of course, B&H Racing, our guys got 4 of us out here having a lot of fun. B&H IT Services, so man, we're having a blast. Happy to be in here. Happy to see a big field in here, and man, 100 laps green flag. Can't get much better than that.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie Harcum comes home in second place, and he is setting up real nicely his team for a really good run into the playoffs. Says only 15 races, man. It'll be over, and the playoffs will be here before you know it. But let's get our third place finisher into chat. He's been waiting really patiently as we get through all the interviews. And Jacob, a pretty good race. I mean, a third place finish after you won last week. I mean, it can't really get much better than that. I mean, I guess other than finishing first or second, but it seemed like those guys up front really kind of pulled away from you after you started. You started up front. You and Jacob were going back and forth, having the Jacob and Jacob show, and having some really good battles there. But it seemed like those tires got a little eat up there, and you started to fall back a little bit. Talk a little bit about that early part of the race, and maybe what would you have done different in hindsight?
Uh, I definitely would have had a little bit more throttle control in 3 and 4 on that first run. I probably would have just let him go and do what he did, and uh, kind of made more steady lap times instead of running as fast as I could. That first like 5 laps at the beginning of the race, because I think we were running 31 twos, 31 threes at the beginning, and I told myself I wasn't going to do that, and I ended up doing it anyway. And I think that's what the dagger in the side was, for that. And on top of it, I just burned off that right front almost instantly doing that.
Well, you had the
Okay.
strat. It seemed like you were on a different strategy from your teammates. And at what point did you decide to make that call and go a little bit longer? Was there conversations about that? Was that an audible that you made later down the road? Because it looks like the one-stop strategy was the right call. When did you make that call? Was it before the race, or did you make an audible in the middle there?
Um, Funny thing is, I didn't map any of my buttons for my pit stop stuff during before the race, and I didn't do it last week either, and I completely forgot about it. So when they said that they were pitting, I went, "Oh crap!" So I had to race and try to get the mouse to do everything while I was driving, and by that time I was 3, 4 laps into it, and I was like, "You want to know what? I might as well stay out and see where it goes from here."
Well, okay. So no plan at all, and that's what Bob Ross calls a happy little accident. And hey, that ended up with a podium finish, so you can't beat that at all. Pretty good start to the season for you, Jacob. I mean, last week, this week you had a pretty solid race. I mean, it went really well for you. Last week was frustrating. It was a tough one to get that win. Going a couple laps down and then having to come back. I mean, a lot of stress tonight's green flag racing, 100 laps. The only mistake you made was making the right call and pit strategy. So that's pretty
Right,
good. It's
right.
pretty good. So talk a little bit about your start to the season. A first and a third, that's about as good as it could possibly be. Going into Nashville, how you feeling about your chances to maybe try to get 2 wins already?
Nashville is one of my favorite tracks. Is literally my favorite track of all time. I love when they actually in real life race this track, and I love it on the sim in any car. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's such a blast to run. Very throttle dependent. In the corners. You got to be very patient, and it's something with me and that track just clicks like no other. So I'm actually really looking forward to next week and seeing what we can do uh, out there, and then maybe help some of the teammates, get out there and try to run me down.
Well, all right. Well, third place, great run here tonight. And as always, man, floor is yours. Who you got to thank?
Definitely got to thank Right Now Roofing for sponsoring the series and Goat Locker in general. They're doing some great things. Jam Printing and Promotions has been with us from the beginning. Um, Amber does a great job with all the shirts, hats, decals, dog tags. She does a phenomenal job with everything. Um, Jamie Parkins, with Veterans for Life, helping us out, coming on board the season and last season, and doing some great things for Goat Locker, and then everything he does outside of Goat Locker with Veterans for Life is amazing. Out of Columbus, Cruising Classics, and then Redbeard Designs, and then definitely got to thank you, Eddie, for putting on an amazing broadcast each and every single week, man. You do a great job. And then I definitely can't forget. I definitely got to thank my teammates and my number one biggest fan, my daughter. She's amazing. 9-year-old little girl, just full of happiness and joy about racing.
All right. Well, there you have it. Jacob Ellingson takes home third place as, man, we're getting ready to get out of here. What a great race. A great start to the season as, man, Jacob Denson takes home the win. And we're going to put 2 rounds already in the books here in the Xfinity Series. Man, crazy, crazy, crazy to see it. But, man, congratulations to everybody for the race here tonight. I mean, just incredible. We're getting ready to get out of here. We got to roll. We want to thank all of our sponsors again. Of course, Right Now Roofing, Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundations, and Premier Setups, along with Redbeard Designs and others. So, Cruising Class, excuse me. I don't want to get in trouble here. But, man, thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoy it. And we'll be back next week in the Music City at Nashville. Going to be a good show. Y'all come on out, and we'll see y'all. But from Las Vegas, we're done here. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you later.